Chapter 1. The Sunday Dinner. My name is Jake, and I am a carpenter. I love the smell of fresh wood. I love building things with my hands. My wife, Sarah, used to say she loved my hands. She said they were strong and honest, but her father did not see them that way. Every Sunday we went to Sarah's parents' house for dinner. I always felt a little nervous. Sarah's mother, Mary, was a kind and quiet woman. But her father, Mr. David, was not. He was a rich lawyer, and he did not like that his daughter married a simple carpenter. We were all sitting at the big, shiny dining table. Mr. David was talking about Sarah's brother, Daniel. Daniel was also a lawyer. He was very successful. Mr. David was always very proud of him. He told us about Daniel's new car and his big house. Then he stopped talking about Daniel. He looked at me across the table. His eyes were cold. He did not smile. He said, "A man must have a good career, a real career, not just a hobby." I knew he was talking about me. He did this often. He never said my name, but his words were always for me. They were small, sharp attacks. He said, "Sarah is a smart woman. She has a good job. She deserves a life with nice things." I looked down at my plate. I did not want to look at him. I did not want to look at anyone. I just wanted the dinner to be over. I could feel my face getting hot with embarrassment. Chapter 2. The Loudest Silence. In the past, these moments were hard, but I was never alone. Sarah was always my team. She was my defender. She was always on my side. Every time her father said something bad, she would speak. She would say, "Dad, please stop. Jake is a good man. He works very hard, and I am proud of him. His work is important." Her voice was always strong and clear. Her words were my shield. So, at the dinner table, I waited. After her father finished talking, there was a quiet moment. I looked at Sarah. I waited for her to defend me. I waited for her to tell her father that he was wrong. I waited for her to be my wife, but she said nothing. She did not look at me. She did not look at her father. She just stared at her plate of food. She picked up her fork. She moved a small piece of chicken around her plate. She was completely silent. The silence was only for a few seconds, but it felt like a long time. In that silence, I heard everything. I heard that she was tired of fighting for me. I heard that she was not on my team anymore. Her father's words hurt, but my wife's silence was the thing that killed me. I felt a cold feeling spread through my chest. I was completely alone. I looked at the woman I loved, and I saw a stranger. She would not even look at me. The rest of the dinner was a blur. I did not say a word. I just waited for it to end. Chapter 3. The Drive Home. The drive home was always 20 minutes. We usually listened to music or talked about our week. But tonight, the car was silent. It was a heavy, cold silence that filled the small space between us. I was driving. I kept my eyes on the road. The streetlights made long yellow lines on the wet street. Sarah was looking out her window. I could see her face in the reflection. She looked sad. I could not stand the silence. I had to know. I had to hear her say it. My voice was very quiet when I spoke. I said, "You were quiet tonight." She did not turn to look at me. She kept looking at the dark houses we were passing. She said, "I was just tired." I knew it was a lie. I said, "Your father said some bad things about me, about my job. You usually say something." I could not finish the sentence. My throat felt tight. She was quiet for a long time. I thought she was not going to answer. I was ready to just drive home in the terrible silence. But then she spoke. Her voice was just a whisper. She said, "I don't know, Jake." She took a slow breath. "I am tired of fighting with him." Then she said the words that ended our marriage. She said, Maybe he's right." I did not say anything. There was nothing to say. I just kept my hands on the steering wheel and my eyes on the road. I felt my heart break. It was not a loud, crashing sound. It was a quiet, clean break. In that moment, I knew I was alone. Chapter 4. A Team of One. We drove the rest of the way home in that new silence. It was not an angry silence. It was the silence of the end. We both knew the truth now. Our team was finished. We walked into our house. It did not feel like our home anymore. It was just a place full of furniture and memories. The warmth was gone. Sarah went into our bedroom. She closed the door behind her. She did not say good night. I stood alone in the dark living room. I looked at a picture on the wall. It was from our wedding day. We were smiling and happy. We looked like a perfect team. I did not go to our bedroom. I walked down the hall to the small guest room. I closed the door. I sat on the edge of the bed. I did not turn on the light. I just sat there in the darkness. The silence in the room was my new reality. The next morning, we talked. There was no shouting. There were no tears. We just talked like two very sad friends. She told me she was not happy. She wanted a different life. She wanted the life her father talked about, a life with more money and more things. I listened to her words. I understood. I was not the man she wanted, and she was not the woman I needed. I could not be a lawyer with a big house. I was a carpenter. I loved my work. I loved my simple life. We decided to separate. The decision was quiet and sad. That afternoon, I packed a bag. It was not a big bag. I looked around the house one last time. I was sad to leave. But I also felt a small sense of peace. I was not fighting a battle anymore. I was not trying to be good enough. I was just me. And I knew that had to be okay.